To One Piece talk for Road Poneglyph. It's not One Piece talk. That's what it's called. For volume 53 of One
Yeah,
Piece.
and
Yeah.
the cover for volume 53 is one of those volumes where it was kind of a lot to take in for me, right? Because the cover for volume 52, it's just the Straw Hats, and then there's Rayleigh at the front, right?
Mhm.
And this is one of those volumes where I pick it up, and it's almost entirely characters I've never seen in my entire fucking life, right?
Yeah, I think those are good volumes to share. Uh, I think the complete opposite reason is the reason why I can't let you see the volume 55 yet. But
Yeah, because I'm gonna be like, why is that motherfucker in the story right now?
let's talk about
Yeah.
let's quickly talk about the CP9 storyline.
Yeah,
So basically,
Yeah.
span
about
them
to
through
say.
these guys under the bus, and they work to get Rob Lucci back. And now, like, they're being good guys, and Rob Lucci saving the town from like pirates. So, like, you're a terrible human being. But Oda has this thing, and it might be a writing weakness where after the villain is dealt with, Oda will try to humanize him and make you like him more, despite how vile that villain was.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. We we got the chapter cover story for Baroque Works, right?
yeah.
And it's like, okay, you guys were bad guys, but you're kind of charming and y'all are just kind of doing your own thing now. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, man, I'm sorry, man. Rob Lucci is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I could
Well,
buy it
like-
for the other ones. Like a couple
Mhm.
cover stories ago, they were bowling and shit. Like that's pretty cute. But when it's
Yeah.
Rob Lucci doing it, I'm like, nah, fam.
Nah.
I'm like, I'm
Not-
this
sorry,
guy.
dude.
I
It couldn't
think
be me,
also-
dog.
What makes those stories a little bit better is like take Brokeworks, for example, is that they're kind of basically pirates. And like the whole idea with One Piece is being a pirate, being a free man. So you kind of get this sense of them rebelling and being free of that confines.
Yeah, they're
But
still
that's not
killing
Rob
people,
Lucci.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Still Rob
But-
Lucci.
That's not Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci is a dog of
Now,
the government.
one real cute thing I like that we do get later this volume with this cover story is that we find out that all the CP9 are usually orphans that grow up in an island, and they like train in
Yeah.
this little dojo, and the CP9 defend that dojo from the Navy. I thought that was pretty endearing in this cover story.
Yeah, and it was really fun to see like these little kids, these future CP9 members do their like training, because all these kids have their own unique little design, and it's like, oh, they're gonna grow up to be
Murderers.
Assassins,
it's fucking assassins.
dead ass
Rob-
world government scum.
Yeah.
Maybe Rob Lucci's in the Strong World chapter.
Yeah, it
Dude.
is.
Yeah.
Before he killed 55, was it 50 hostages or 500 hostages?
I think it was a lot more than 50. Yeah, it was like hundreds.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
Why
talking
Robert
about that
Lucci-
one incident where he killed like 50 hostages so he could kill 500 pirates. Like, Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good guy, Lucci. Anyways, portion one of our volume here is Straw Hats Defeated, which is a chapter or like a portion that you never thought you'd really see.
Oh, dude. And I don't know if it's this chapter or like the next one, but there's a dialogue box that comes up, and I got goosebumps when I read
Yeah,
it.
that's the one thing I noted. Like, you can talk about any part here. We're not going by chapter. We're just talking about the whole part in general. But in general, the Straw Hats are popping off. Monster Chopper's here. Kuma is slowly disintegrating the Straw Hats. Like, how did you? First of all, do you know what Kuma is doing to them at this point of the story, or like, do you have a guess as you're reading it the first time?
So, the first time we saw him do this was with Perona.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Later, we learn that his power is to repel things. And, we see him, like, propel air at, like, the speed of light to hit people with air blasts.
Yeah.
And so you have to wonder what he did to Perona. Did he make her disappear, or did he just fucking repel her really far, really fast?
I think
Yeah,
that's the
was it-
implication. Yeah.
I wasn't sure that's what happened until this volume.
Right.
And throughout this chapter, my hope level was like decreasing at an exponential rate, because whenever it was just Zoro who got disappeared, I was like, okay, well, maybe they can still kind of win this fight with Rayleigh here, and maybe Zoro's still close by.
Yeah.
But with each page that goes by, he disappears another Straw Hat member, and I was just like,
Okay.
no, they lose. It's over. Like, they can't do anything.
Straight up, they've never fully lost like this. Even Aokiji was like, he beat them, but he didn't like crush them. Like he didn't take it as a win. He just walked away. He's like, ah, whatever. Here, Kuma defeated each of the 9 Straw Hats in an instant.
Easily.
And you're right. This that day, the Straw Hat Pirates, led by Captain Monkey D. Luffy, were eradicated. Holy shit!
And it's just like, holy shit, right?
That's so good. Luffy here.
Like you read that, and you're just like, how am I supposed to? Like, how do I interpret this?
You should watch this clip in the anime because, like, Luffy saying he couldn't save a single one of them is really sad. Okay, I get to finally talk about this. We've been building up for this moment since actually the Davy Back fight. Remember that arc where Luffy fought so hard to where he wouldn't lose a single crew member, right? And then
I was just about to say that. This is Luffy's honestly, Luffy's biggest fear finally happening.
Yeah, and I really love it because Oda doesn't have Luffy ever say this is my biggest fear, but the action, he did a show not tell where we've been shown that this is what Luffy has been fighting so hard for, where Enies Lobby they waged war to save a single crew member, and Luffy developed Gear 2, and I quote basically is because if we're gonna fight strong people like that again, I'm not gonna lose a single crew member ever again. So we've had Davy Back fight, Enies Lobby, Thriller Bark is this arc where it's kind of also similar, but I think the real takeaway is Moria, where Moria warned them the new world is going to crush you. Everyone you know and love are going to die and disappear, and then you'll be like me. So
Moria's
so
Moria's
good.
A warning for Luffy.
Oh, such an
underrated.
It's what you could become.
Moria was the perfect villain to come before this arc, and it is so sad because Luffy explicitly designed Gear 2 and Gear 3 for this purpose, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, they did fuck all. Not only that, say Luffy had stopped Kuma from taking them, there's still Sentomaru, 2 pacifistas, and Kizaru nearby. So hopeless.
Yeah. So, speaking of Gear 2, I'll save it to the end if we have extra time. We'll move forward.
Next up, we get introduced to Amazon Lily. After that,
I will say, this makes Kuma all that more interesting, right?
Right.
Oh,
because he let them go, technically, in a matter of speaking.
Yeah. Did you catch Kuma was talking to Rayleigh at one point? Did you catch that conversation?
I'm sure I did, but we can talk to it if you want.
If it's basically, he says, America don't involve government. I'm not required to cooperate with the Navy. I won't answer your question.
Yeah.
Him.
I don't remember.
But you don't really get to know what he said.
Shit.
So Kuma's up to shit.
This is a real tone setter here. The times are about to become as rough as the seas.
Woo!
Yeah. Story's picking up now. So Luffy travels through the air for 3 days and lands in an island of women known as Amazon Lily. He meets Marigold and Alfendra, what's her name? The tall one?
Dude, and
Alfonso, I don't know.
Margaret or whatever?
Margaret, Alfie, and the girl who always says chapter. I don't. That's such a weird verbal tick.
We got an island of babes. I'm just gonna say it. I'm throwing that out there.
Amazon Lily is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun island because Oda's so bad at drawing women, and then he's like, "All right, just this once, I'm gonna flex. I'm gonna show you that I could if I wanted to, but I just
not."
So where Luffy landed, there was a paw print there, and Luffy even remarks on it, and I couldn't tell if that was a crater from him landing or if it was something explicitly set up by Kuma.
It was a Kuma thing because he notes that it was a really soft landing, so the bubble softly lands you in an area, and that's what causes the little paw print on the ground.
Which, I figured it had to be a very purposeful thing by Kuma because I'm sure Luffy could tank hitting the ground that hard after flying that far, but I don't know if some of the other Straw Hats would be able to. So I hope they got.
Yeah, like I'm sure the other Straw Hats are also fine, given that that's how the bubble works. But
During
uh,
this bath scene, I was I went on Discord. I was like, "Am I reading a hentai?"
yeah, Luffy
I
got
said yeah.
a hand job here. No big deal.
But Luffy
Yeah.
didn't give a
Remember
fuck.
what we said? It's important to know that his dick is made out of rubber.
Yeah, it is actually
Got
plot relevant. So,
yeah.
not much to say about the first introduction of Amazon Lily, except that like it's just really good world building. Oda, like first of all, Amazon Lily
I
has its own
really
currency. It's got a really cool art style. I love. It's like an island of fighters. They get around by using these poisonous snakes to go through the calm belt, which is pretty rad.
hmm I like that the city itself is like built into this giant kind of volcano crater fortress
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
See.
it's very much like if you get and like everyone's inside of it. So if you get there, like you still have this whole wall to assail before you can actually get to anything to like pillage or plunder. So it is basically a fortress, warrior, isolated city, and it's in the calm belt. So you literally can't get there unless you absolutely try.
They also address something Bradley talked about, where it's like he didn't really like how the Marines had ships that could go through the calm belt. I think there's a line here where they're like, it's not. You still need to know how to sail in an ocean without wind because the calm belt doesn't really have wind, and they're rare ships. So I think that helps keep the integrity of the world, where
Yeah, it's
only
like
really
there's
the Navy can do it.
Yeah, it did help a little bit because like the reason I didn't really like that the Navy could do that is I was under the impression that like, oh, anyone with access to that technology can do that. So it's like, oh, if you just fucking get a Navy ship, you can go anywhere. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's more difficulties.
Yeah. Two real good gags here with the family jewels and the frilly shirt. There,
Hmm.
there's a lot of fun moments in this arc, but I think the next
Yeah.
main thing we should talk about is the Boa introduction. Personally,
Oh my god,
so-
there's Amber Alert.
Also, real quick, is this was the arc where I realized like the difference between Luffy and Goku. I felt was really present in that like Luffy is still a lot more aware of things than Goku was in Dragon Ball. Like he's very much aware of like of some sort of social norms throughout the world, whereas Goku was completely oblivious. And I was really refreshed that like he wasn't a complete fucking moron or idiot.
I want to point out multiple times in this arc, Luffy name drops
Yeah.
a crewmate, where it's like X would be so much easier or better if Y was here. So it's like if Chopper was here, I could get treated. I wish Sanji was here. If Frankie was here, he could like build something, etc. And I really like that. Like he's keeping it together, but this is the first time in 54 volumes that Luffy has been alone. He has never been
Yeah.
alone. He's been alone. Like the first time we meet him, he meets Kobe like immediately after. You know, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
He's
then-
like, yeah.
and then Zoro shortly after that, and Nami.
I remember in this volume, Luffy got hungry, and then he's like, Sanji, come on, food. And he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Sanji's
So
like,
he keeps name dropping like all these things where his crewmates would be helpful, but he's just alone. This is a lovely. This is one of the best color pages. I wish it was in color.
yeah.
Because it's the first time we've seen every Straw Hat. Like this is like the exact pose and moment where Luffy or where the story introduces each Straw Hat, which is really neat. So like
Oh,
Zoro's on the
that's so cool.
cross, Miss All Sunday is taunting them, Usopp's with the
Yeah.
kids, Chopper's looking through
Chopper's
it,
Frankie's doing the
Frankie's
dance on
doing
top
the
of the
super
building.
on top of the building. Yeah, like it's so nostalgic. But it's all with
Cool.
Oda's current art style, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So the Boa introduction is like the big thing that I think we should get to next. I think that would be later in this chapter. So
It
Boa's
happens a few
introduced.
pages in, yeah.
And she's got quite the introduction. So she's a warlord, so she can keep Amazon Lily safe. But at the same time, she's like, "Oh, give me all your food. All of your men are gonna turn to stone, and I'm gonna pillage this navy ship and head back home." So she
Yeah,
she
and
takes
yeah.
this puppy
Warlord.
or like this little kitten.
Yeah. It's my favorite.
Great intro, and there's
And,
a better moment
you
later
know-
in this volume.
Bo Hancock is the name that I'd always heard related to One Piece. And, I saw the chapter cover and I saw this character and I was like, I know I've seen this chick before. So I was like, that's gotta be Boa. And I didn't know anything about her. Like I didn't know what she was like. I didn't know if she had a power at all. I didn't know who she was aligned with. I didn't know if she was a good guy, bad guy. So I was like, this is like kind of getting to meet like a legendary manga character and finally see what they're all about.
Yeah. What did you think of her introduction in general? Because it's by no means does she come off like a nice person here. I think.
No.
Yeah, she kicked the little kitten, and I was like, oh fuck, I
And
hope she's not.
She's just such a bitch
Yeah.
too. It's like, I'll keep my title as a warlord. Now give me all your treasure. Like Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we have a redemption arc to do.
I think Momonga is really cool here. Where he stabs himself to escape the lust of Boa. So I think that's a real like we've barely met this guy, but I think he shines pretty decently. Her mannerisms here are just really entertaining. I think she doesn't come off as a good person, but she definitely comes off as an entertaining character.
Yeah, she knows exactly what she does to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
a babe.
I think the next
What a babe.
key plot point here would be Luffy crashing the bath time, which would actually be the next chapter. But like more Boa mannerisms where she sees this little doll that the little girl made and she crushes it because it's not pretty enough, and she's really mean to the old empress.
And even the old empress is like, whatever Boa puts on her act, she's like, "Oh my god, you're so cute."
Yeah. So we get the little story about their Gorgon's eyes, which we'll later learn is not the case. It's a cool little mystery for later. I just really love Luffy's idea here. It's like, I'll find the tallest building because that's where important people are. And that's
he's not really wrong.
So, when Luffy saw it here, what did you think? Just because it's not revealed what he's looking at, but he says he's seen something similar. So did you have any theories, or it's just like, I'll figure it out later?
My idea is, I think my initial idea was probably that there was some world government symbol or some shit at some point, and he would be like, "Oh, you must be aligned with whoever."
That's pretty close to what it actually was. So
pretty close,
yeah. So we get Luffy versus the Snake Sisters, which...
Sisters?
Kind of like Eru. Luffy's the hard counter to this devil fruit.
Yeah, I think those pages where he's countering the devil fruit are so fucking cute. Where they're like, I like this one where everyone tilts their head. It's like, what?
Luffy's just like biting his lips. He's like...
I love how he's like,
huh?
It's the slowpoke photons from Foxy. He's like, I'm gonna turn slow. And
yeah.
Now that's good comedy.
That's Luffy's awkward face where he's like, that should have done something. And I'm sorry that it didn't.
So Luffy, this time though, yeah, does he?
That's he does. Good. He gets zapped. He's just like,
oh, he does. I remember now. That's God. Luffy's the best.
Boa has the simp fruit.
Yeah,
but Luffy does.
Luffy is asexual. He just wants to get the One Piece. Fuck them bitches, says Luffy.
He is sexually attracted to the One Piece.
Now her fruit lets her do this cool little move too, where she can make a little heart and shoot it like a bullet, which is pretty neat. She uses it in her Pirate Warriors moveset.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so she turns the girls to stone, and then we get to the main fight here, which I love Luffy's anger at everyone laughing and cheering for Boa after she's turned someone to stone. It's very reminiscent of how Luffy reacted to Kuro and Krieg when they turned on their crewmates. Luffy's like, how fucking dare you?
It's like, what the fuck? These are your friends. And I also, from these, people in this, what the fuck was this island called?
Amazon Lily.
Kuja.
Or Kuja is the
Amazon
island.
Lily.
Amazon Lily.
Kuja,
some of these inhabitants...
Kuja's the pirates. Kuja's the people.
Why are they the Kuja
The vibe I got from a lot of... The
Yeah.
vibe I got from a lot of the Amazon Lily inhabitants kind of reminded me a bit of Skypiea, where it's like they act like they're really okay with what Boa does, but I'm wondering if maybe they're just scared that the same would happen to them if they said it was fucked up.
I don't think that's it. I think this is playing up on her like catchphrase of like "You'll forgive me because I'm beautiful." And the island loves her because she's their protector and she's genuinely, I guess, like, I guess the way it's implied is like if you existed in the One Piece world, you would think this is the hottest girl. Like,
Yeah.
and despite no matter what your gender is, you're gonna be going goo goo for Boa here. But
Yeah.
Luffy is not having it.
Yeah. It's also, I think the difference is that Inaru was very much feared on his island. Like, it's like if you don't do right, you're gonna get struck down by God. This is like, we love Boa Hancock. We are her fangirls on this island.
Yeah,
like, in love with her.
Definitely a fangirl situation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because unlike she protects the island, unlike Inaru, where he's just a tyrant.
Hey, 519 chapter cover page.
What?
The chapter cover page for 519.
Right.
What about it? Oh yeah.
It's fun. Well, it's fun. One, just because you get to see the future little CP9 members, but also, I got to the chapter cover page and I was like, "Why the fuck is this shaded in?" And then it's revealed in a later question corner that 519 was like the last chapter of Dragon Ball by Toriyama, and Oda just considered getting to 519 such a huge milestone.
Yeah.
So he shaded in the cover page.
Very cool, because that's Oda's biggest influence is Dragon Ball, and it's kind of crazy how much better One Piece is in every way. Oof! Talk about just destroying your heroes. So yeah, we get a little bit of action. I want to bring up that the Snake Sisters. First of all, I love their snake designs. I think they look real cool and creative. They keep talking about how they're using haki, but it's not quite the haki that we've seen before, and Luffy exhibits in this page where it's knocking people out. One of them is more akin to what Sentomaru was doing, where Sentomaru was like repelling Luffy and hurting his physical form. But then one of the Snake Sisters also saying that she's using haki to dodge Luffy's moves. So it seems like as we're getting introduced to this haki thing, there seems to be multiple things you can do with it. I think that's the big takeaway here.
Yeah. I don't want to quite call this the haki tutorial fight, but this is the fight that signals that this is going to be like a borderline necessary skill for the
from this
remainder of the story.
Yeah.
And other elements that's used is that Marguerite mentions that her arrows are infused with a haki when she shoots them.
Yeah, so when she shoots them, they're like shattering stone and shit. So
go back to the panel where Luffy says, "I said stop it." Does he have like a middle tooth?
No, Oda's heart is perfect. Stop. So
he's got an Uno tooth.
They mentioned that he has the haki of a natural-born king.
Dude, he's a king.
Whatever that means. So we'll have to leave that as that, because we haven't gotten the actual haki tutorial yet. You will get one. You will understand this all. Yeah. But just not yet.
It's like we haven't done the tutorial yet. We've just read the game manual and we know that haki is a thing.
I do want to bring up, because fuck it, I'll just bring it up now. We saw haki technically in the first chapter of One Piece. Can you remember when?
Yeah, that's why the sea monster was able to bite Shanks' arm. It used haki on him. I got to jump on him.
It's it's the opposite. You know, so Shanks glares at the monster and makes it back down. Shit. Very similar to the haki that Luffy does and Rayleigh did. So whether or not Oda always wanted that ability to be haki, or whether he retrofitted it, I think it works either way. All I know is there was haki in the first chapter of One Piece, which is pretty neat. Shit. But we still don't know much about it.
I love this cover page for 520, by the way, especially Usopp's face. It's absurd. But moving on.
So the fight ends here. Luffy pops off by going Jet Gatling.
Ooh.
I think the best part here is when Luffy covers up the tattoo on the back, and he only does it because he's like, I know this makes you uncomfortable, so I'm going to respect it even though we're enemies. And I think
Yeah, and
that's really
I
nice.
I feel like a lot of people who, if I ever see people online who are critical of One Piece, which is surprisingly rare, actually not surprisingly rare, it's a good fucking story, but like if someone is critical of One Piece, they'll try to call Luffy like a dumb airhead, and I'm like,
No.
no,
Yeah.
you see this shit? He's so smart.
I
He
think
knows exactly what he's doing.
rereading One Piece, I think Luffy might be just the best character in One Piece. He made number one in our tier list when me and Joe did it. Like we just had to do it. Like he's so fucking iconic and good and enjoyable and always consistent.
Yeah,
but
I think all
But
the
at the
fan-
same time, like
all the
dynamic
fan
enough
polls
that
so
you
far,
get
he's
shot
got
by
number
him.
one.
What?
Sorry.
All the fan polls number one. He's got number one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like most main characters would get the number one just out of being the main character, but I feel like Luffy really deserves it. Like Oda really, his writing style meshes so well with the character of Luffy. But I want to keep, and it's gonna be a long time before this comes up, but I just want you to remember this moment where Luffy like respected the insecurity of his opponent like this, because I think that's a cool character trait that is worth noting for later. Also, this is Barry Good, the guy who could turn into balls, who was in the Buster Call.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh
neat.
boy.
This brings us to the Luffy and Hancock exposition hour, which is very good. The first
It has a
big
great
thing
gag.
here, the first big thing here is Luffy choosing immediately to save Margaret and the girls. And
Yeah.
Boa and the sisters are like, holy shit, this guy's unreal.
Yeah, and I just love that moment because, you know, before I turned the page and saw his actual choice, I was like, Luffy's not going to hesitate here. Like, he's obviously going to save them. And he did because, you know, to Luffy, like, obviously he really wants to get back to his crew, but in his head, he's like, I'll figure out some other way to do it. Whatever.
Yeah, because like if you become Luffy's friend, which is not hard,
It's not hard.
he'll move mountains for you. Just fucking do it. Just
Yeah.
befriend Luffy. It's the best thing you could do. So Luffy walking in is like, "Oh hey, how come you're naked?"
I know, right?
So we get to see what the Gorgon's Eye actually was, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I saw it on Hachi." And then we get the proper story of like this is a slave mark, and all the fishmen of the Sun Pirates, which is the core fisherman pirate crew, have this mark. So Arlong also had it, as you'll recall, and I don't think we ever saw it on Kurobi or Chu. So because I don't remember seeing that mark on them, but
I don't remember it either.
Hachi and Arlong definitely have it.
Luffy's like, I've seen that mark in Majora's Mask.
No, I think Arlong's on his chest.
I think Arlong's is on a shoulder, and you can see part of it.
I think one of them has it on their chests, if I remember correctly.
So the deal with this, and I really like this, is like some of the fishmen were slaves, but all of the crew members of the crew, regardless of if they were slaves, they all marked themselves with the Sun Pirate logo, kind of like a solidarity for their brothers, which I think is really cool.
It's nice.
We get the story of Fisher Tiger and how this motherfucker climbed the red line with his bare goddamn hands and just saved a bunch of fucking slaves.
What a fucking beast.
What a beast. And he saved the Snake Sisters as well in the process.
It's like, what a Chad. It's like, I mean, he ain't, like, you know, he might not be no Gold Roger, but, like, he's up there.
Once we learn more about Fisher Tiger, he is a certified Chad status. This is a great character.
Yeah.
And I really like how Boa, like, she has a line that's, like, very mature for One Piece. It's like, I can't trust people anymore. I'm afraid of being vulnerable. I don't want anyone to ever control me again. Like, damn, like, this is dark for One Piece.
Yeah, and, you know, we kind of we kind of realize why the island culture is the way it is, because the first time Boa ever saw a man in her entire life,
As a slaver.
that kicked off years of slavery and giving her this trauma, and so she doesn't want to deal with that. And then Luffy comes in here and challenges that worldview, and she's like, "Yeah, this is my fucking dude."
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
So like I think there's heavy implications that her time as a slave were darker than Shonen Jump would allow. You know, like
I believe it, because
I get those implications from Robin and Nami too. So it's like these Straw Hat girls have been through potentially a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luffy has shown himself to be just the upstanding guy that he truly is, and Boa's able to let her stone heart crack a little bit, you know.
yeah,
I like how much this I like how much this meshes with her first introduction, where it's like, I don't want to ever be controlled again, so I'm not gonna go fight in this war.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my title, and I'm gonna take your food, and I'm the most beautiful woman. I think it meshes well with her bratty personality.
dude.
This
Why
card's
is the
pretty sick.
CP9? CP9
Yeah.
looks like they're about to drop the hottest mixtape of the year.
It's hard
I
to
like how
it's hard to remember that they're all animal themed. They look so
Yeah,
fucking
right?
cool here.
well, not all of them. Well,
No,
Kefla is
she's
is
a
soap
sheep.
soap, but she makes herself look like a
Yeah,
sheep. Yeah.
they like make themselves all look like animals.
Yeah. By the way, Boa Hancock, Crocodile, Gecko Moria. Have you noticed a Hawkeye Mihawk? Have you noticed that all the warlords are also animal themed?
Shit.
There it
Yeah.
is.
By the way, this is the last
No,
like,
second to last.
warlord. Well, this is the second last one we haven't seen yet, but it's the last one that we did not know was the warlord. Does that make sense?
That's true. We are missing.
Yeah,
So, if
yeah.
you'll recall, we are missing one of the 7 warlords. But we've known about them since like chapter
longest.
40.
Wait, yeah, so
Yeah.
let me think. There's so we have Boa,
1,
we have Mihawk,
2,
we have Kuma,
3,
we have Gecko Moria,
4.
Uh-huh.
Crocodile.
there's Crocodile,
We're going with the original 7 here, so Crocodile would be 5.
Yeah.
and then
Mihawk would be 6.
There's
No,
the,
she already
Oh.
said Mihawk.
and then there's the Fishman one.
There's Boa Hancock, and then yes, there is the 7th warlord, who
Which
is Jimbei, who we mentioned in chapter like 40 of the story. So not only
35.
not
Yeah.
only did not only have we known about this guy since before the concept of what One Piece really was even a thing in our minds, but he's also the last one we're gonna get to meet. So that's pretty
So, yeah.
fucking wild.
I can't remember if like
Doflamingo's the one we missed.
Oh, don't
yeah,
forget that,
that's right.
Which
I
is
can't
funny.
remember if Jinbei like ruled the fishmen or if he created the fishmen or all what other shit.
He was the captain of the Fishman Pirates.
Okay.
That's all
And
we really know.
Arlong's crew broke off from those pirates
Yeah.
and became the Arlong
Mhm.
pirates. So, one day we'll get to meet that man.
Yeah.
But for now,
One day.
it's party time. Luffy's doing his dumb chopstick shit with all the girls. You gotta love it.
Oh,
all-
dude, they love him.
They all want to see his dick. They love him.
They do.
He's great. And we get the
And
bombshell
this is
of Ace's execution.
yeah, and this is another moment where someone to Luffy is just like, "How the fuck did you not know this?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"I don't read the newspaper."
I can't read.
Nami reads the newspapers and then relays information for me, and she's not here right now.
Mhm.
So I think
Nami or Robin, one of the two.
we usually see Nami with the papers, so it's probably her. Robin's
Yeah.
reading dorky books or some shit.
You know, before now, Luffy knew that Ace had been captured, but he wasn't particularly worried. He's like, Ace will figure some shit out, and he wouldn't want me rescuing him anyway. But hearing that they are officially going to execute him, and it's happening in less than a week, just made this really real for Luffy. He's like, okay, I have to do something.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm sorry, crew, but like, I have to go save my brother." And I'm sure, like, if the crew read the papers, they would all be like, "Oh, Luffy's not going to let this go."
And like that's huge because the only other real family relation we've seen with Luffy is with Garp, and you know he
It's not
kind
great.
of doesn't give he doesn't really give a fuck about Garp that much. So like, if Garp was in trouble, I think Luffy would still prioritize his crew. But we haven't gotten to see Luffy interact with Ace a ton in this story, and the fact that he would the fact that he would postpone reuniting with his crew to go save Ace just really speaks to how close they are.
And with that, we kind of end the volume with the revelation that Boa has the same sickness that killed the previous Empress, which is love.
Shit.
She's just tsundere as shit. Or I guess tsundere is not even the word.
Yeah.
Because I think she's pretty open with it. She's just really shy. But
yeah, as soon as she said, "I'll go wherever you wish," I was like, "Ah, shit." Luffy's got a love interest.
Yeah, and there she is. But I think that wraps up the volume.
Yeah.
And this also pretty much wraps up the arc of Amazon Lily. So it was only really in one volume.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more in the next volume, but then we get to start the best arc in One Piece.
Luffy's on his way to Impel Down. And,
hell yeah.
I'm very excited to start it because a lot of manga series have like very famous arcs. Like if someone had never watched Dragon Ball Z, they'd probably still know about the Frieza saga. Or if people know anything about Berserk, they know there is an arc called the Golden Age arc.
Yeah.
And Impel Down is just an arc that I've always known existed.
Well,
I think it's because I think it's because I talk about it so much.
Well, I also have a brother who's like a giant fan of One Piece.
If your brother likes Impel Down, then he's certified good.
Yeah. This is the upcoming arc is Willer's favorite arc of One Piece.
I think it might not be my favorite. I think that comes later, but I think it's like objectively the best. So, it's definitely like top 3 to 2. Probably my second favorite, to be honest.
It's very good.
I just think it's fucking fire. No misses. It's got some of my favorite characters. What do we want to? That's the talk again. Pretty short. This new format is very easy on our throats and our vocal cords as we have to talk about this.
That's a whole volume where we didn't see any of the other Straw Hats.
Yeah. I wonder when we're gonna see them again.
Shit.
So, one thing about this going forward in this saga is like Luffy's motivation. I feel it's starkly different than it is, I think, throughout the rest of the series.
How so?
Everything that Luffy has done up until this point has been for his own personal goal. Even he's getting Robin back. He's doing all this stuff to further his goal of reaching the One Piece.
And if it's not like moving forward, it's protecting his crew so he can get there. So
yeah, it's maintaining assets as a terrible way of saying.
It's not how he sees it, but that's how. Yeah, this is the first time where he sidestepped his journey.
Right, he is putting his dream on hold to save or do something else. This is the first maybe 100%, not 100%, but fairly selfish act he's done. He didn't save Alabasta to save Alabasta. He did it to get his crew together and to save Vivi because that's his friend.
Yeah. Also, it was
it
was progress. It was moving forward in the Grand Line. Here, he's actually moving backwards. If you look at the little map, the little triangle map, he's actually moving a little bit backwards to go to Impel Down now. Which is crazy. Yeah.
I think that's interesting, and I think it's part of what reasons that makes that big tonal shift in this series is that we have a motivation that is not driven to the ultimate goal of the series.
Yeah, it's also not an adventure. It's gonna be adventurous, but this is task oriented now.
And this saga that we've started now in Bodhi.
Luffy has become his own project manager.
Yeah, basically. This saga also has, I think, the most changes in scenery out of all the other sagas, I would say. So we go
through a lot of locations in not that many volumes, all things considered.
Yeah. This arc or this whole section, I think, is fascinating in how separated and different it is to One Piece. And I think it becomes clearer and clearer as the saga goes on.
Yeah, Bradley, you mentioned Impel Down, but the arcs we're going into are actually like the iconic One Piece arcs where people are like, "Oh yeah, that's the moment One Piece became the best manga if it wasn't already." Like that's the one where it became the legendary One Piece.
One Piece became the best manga. Chapter 1.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with it.
Yeah.
Also, if there's any huge benefit, it's that we're gonna get to see probably a lot more of everyone's favorite Fireboy. So that's exciting.
Hell yeah.
Bradley, you got anything else before we wrap up here?
I think I'm good.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, join us next
Sweet.
time as we start the Impel Down arc in volume 54.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.